They reckon that opinions are a bit like arseholes. Everybody has one. And I wonder whether advice is exactly the same. Now, we were given the task for today of speaking on video and recording it to talk about the best piece of advice we've ever had and the worst piece of advice we've ever had. And I know that my other vlogging colleagues will be off doing something very similar in their own style, and I cannot wait to watch. It is going to be fantastic. But this, it really got me thinking. It got me thinking, well, what is the best piece of advice I've had, and what's the worst piece of advice I'd had? And what became really interesting was it was very hard to define because, well, who defines what best is and who defines what worst is? It's a bit like good and bad. It's all contextual. Something which is good for one person might be absolutely horrendous for another. Something which is best for one person might be the worst thing that could ever happen to them. It is all contextual, and it depends on your perspective and which way you're looking at it. So I thought a little bit more, and I came up with a phrase which I hear quite a lot in the coaching world and quite a lot in the online world, which is something along the lines of, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I'll get it totally wrong. If you take your passion and you do it for a living, you will never work a day again in your life. And in many ways, that's utter bollocks. And the reason I say it's utter bollocks is I have done that on numerous occasions. I have taken the thing which is my passion and I have turned it into work. And not once has it ever felt like it isn't work. Because when you take that passion, that thing you love, that thing you would do without fee or money or investment and turn it into your work, you suddenly have to shift it. Because yes, you have this beautiful thing that you do on top, the skill, the art, the thing that you show to the world, the thing that you say, I love this passionately. But you still need an economic model underneath. You still need to have money coming in to keep the lights on, to pay for the technology, to have the nice furniture to sit on, or the really big addiction to green plants. That has to be there, and you have to honour that as part of the work you do. And if you think that you're going to take your passion and turn it into a job and you're still going to be able to do your passion for 100% of the time, you are so wrong. And I think that's the thing which people forget. Is that advice to take your passion and turn it into a living and you'll never work a day again for the rest of your life. That's why I think that it can be bollocks. On the other hand, I also think it's some of the best advice I ever heard. Having worked in healthcare, having spent time nursing people and working as a podiatrist and spent time teaching people and various other jobs, I know how hard it is to work in a job which doesn't match your values, which doesn't match your beliefs, and does not allow that space for you to be you. For you to be that beautiful, authentic expression of yourself, your authentic self, if we're going to use cliched Instagram keywords. That version of you, being able to express that through the work you do, is beautiful. Taking that and putting it into your work has been one of the most beautiful things I've ever done. That ability for me to go and do the speaking that I do, the coaching that I do, to work with people and express this to the world has been wonderful. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that unless I had taken that chance to turn something I was passionate about into a profession and into a living. It has given me the opportunity to do things like this. It's given me the opportunity to meet gorgeous people like the 5 people I'm doing this with. It's given me an opportunity to travel. It's given me an opportunity to grow and develop. I would not have done that. I know that I would not have done that if I'd have stayed within the National Health Service. So while that piece of advice to take your passion and turn it into a living can on one hand be utter bollocks, because people don't consider the realities of it, it's also the most beautiful thing because it gives you a chance to actually go out there on your terms and live and work in line with your values. Best and worst advice rolled up into one. And depending on the day of the week, it will really depend on how that looks. It will depend on how you feel about it, and it will depend on how it works for you. In in the comments below what's the best and worst advice that you have ever had.